In the last lecture, you learned about what we will be building for our grocery application. And in this section, I'm going to be talking about the starter project. So it is very important that you download the starter project, which is attached as a resource with this lecture. The starter project contains a code which has integration with the Firebase. You can see over here. So we have already integrated it with Firebase. You will have to change a couple of different things. So things including the Google file, that if you go over here, you can remember the Google service info.plist file. You will have to download your own Google service info.plist file from the Firebase and integrate it over here. If you're going to use that, it's not going to work because it is hooked up to my account. And the same is true for the Android. If we go to Android, you saw that we have different file, which was Google services.json. So make sure that when you create a project on Firebase, you have Google services.json file and you have downloaded it. If you need help, then you can definitely go and check out the lecture on the to-do list that we did earlier, where we did all the different setup for Firebase. It is very, very important that you follow all the steps that we did in the last section when we were building to-do list, because that is where we went into great detail of how to integrate Firebase with iOS application as well as Android. Now, I obviously don't want to repeat the whole steps over here because we have already done that. You can always go back to the to-do list section, which was earlier project, and check out all the steps. So make sure that you have integrated it completely with Firebase. You can always download, and you should download the starter project, and you should replace the Google service info plist file, and you should download your file from Firebase. So you have to go to Firebase console and create your own project for grocery application. I have already done that. Okay. And I can actually show it to you. Let me go ahead and show it to you that I already have the grocery app project on Firebase. And here it is. You can see that I have already created a project called Grocery App. It is already connected to iOS. It is already connected to Android, and I already have it. Pretty cool, right? So you have to do the same thing. You have to go to the Firebase console, create a new project, call it Grocery App or whatever, hook it up or add an app for iOS, add an app for Android, download the Google Service info.plist for iOS and the Google services.json file for Android, and then drop it into the correct place, which is right over here. All right. And for iOS, it is right over here inside the runner folder, which is right here. So you have to do all of those different things. And if you need help, you can always go to the previous section for to-do list. Okay, let's check out the project. Well, this project contains, you can see different folders. We have a model folder, which is right here, which is completely empty. There's nothing in there. We have a pages folder. This simply contains the pages. Pages means the user interface for each of the pages that we'll be working on. There's a page called store list page. And store list page is going to simply display all the different stores like H-E-B, Walmart, Randall's, Albertsons, whatever. Then we have an add store page. This page is going to allow you to add a particular store. You can see that the add store page consists of a form, consists of a text form field, which is simply taking in the name of the store right here, and also the name of the address or the address of the store. And then we have a button to save. But as you can see right over here, when the button save is pressed, it doesn't really do anything. So that's a functionality that we have to implement. But the user interface is already done. You can change the user interface if you want to, but we're just going to keep it simple. Then we have the store item list page, same exact thing. The store item list page is going to allow you to enter a new store item like eggs, bread, cookies, these kind of things. And it is also going to be responsible for showing you all the items. Then we have a constants file. Constant file simply contain one constant, which is no store found. And it's a string, so it's simply going to display or give you the value that no stores are found. Then we have the view models folder, which is completely blank over here. We have to create the view models. We have the widgets folder. Now, widgets are just smaller controls that will display a part of the page. Let's check out the empty results widget. The empty results widget is a widget that's going to be displayed when there are no results, meaning if there are no stores, then we will display empty results widget. You are going to be passing in a message that you want to display, like, hey, no stores found, something like that, and then the widget is going to be displayed. We have the item count widget, which is going to display the number of items in each store. So if you have Walmart and you have 5 items, then items count widget is going to display 5. And we have store items widget, which is not displaying anything right now. You can see it's just saying store items widget, but it will eventually display the store items, which is milk, eggs, cookies, bread, things like that. So this is our main file. This is our main project. Basically, we will be using the starter project and then adding the features to it. If you check out the pubspec.yaml file, you can see that we have already added the dependencies on the Firebase core and the Cloud Firestore. The most important part is that you go to the Firebase console and you create a project, and then you download their Google Info plist or Google Services JSON for Android, and then add it to your project. So that's the most important part. I will be using the Android emulator, which is, you can see on the right-hand side for this project. But in the end, I will show you that the app will run flawlessly on iOS as well as Android. All right, so this is a starter project. Very, very important that you download the starter project. If you don't download the starter project, then you will not get any of the interface. You have to create the interface from scratch. So make sure that you download the starter project, which is added as a resource for this lecture. So let's go ahead in the next lecture, check out that how can we start adding models and the view model to add a new store item.